We like to think that artificial intelligence lives in a magical, ethereal place called the cloud. But the cloud isn't in the sky. It lives inside massive, heavily secured warehouses of steel, concrete, and miles of fiber optic cables. And every time you ask an AI to write an email, generate an image, or summarize a document, you are consuming vast amounts of physical resources on the other side of the world. Welcome to another investigation from the Cobra paradox. Today, we aren't going to debate whether AI will take your job. We're going to examine a massive economic pattern that is already impacting millions of households across the United States, because the immense amount of energy these artificial brains devour isn't just being paid for by trillion-dollar tech companies. Data suggests residential customers are increasingly bearing the cost. In North Carolina, average residential electric bills have climbed approximately 20% from 2023 to 2026, with utility regulators approving additional double-digit percentage increases proposed for 2027. In Virginia, projections indicate residential bills could more than double by 2045 if current infrastructure cost allocation continues. And across multiple states, Ohio, Texas, Georgia, a similar pattern is emerging. Massive data center expansion, grid infrastructure costs, residential rate increases. Training and running modern artificial intelligence models requires specialized hardware, primarily graphics processing units, or GPUs. A single AI training GPU can consume between 300 and 700 watts of power continuously. Multiply that by tens of thousands of GPUs in a single data center facility, operating 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We are talking about individual data centers that can demand as much electricity as a mid-sized city, and they're being built at an unprecedented pace. In North Carolina alone, tech giants have announced over $11 billion in data center investments in recent years. Amazon, $10 billion for AI and cloud computing infrastructure. Google, $600 million to expand its Charlotte campus. Apple, $175 million for facility expansion. Meta, over $75 million invested. These aren't small server rooms, these are industrial-scale power consumers. To understand how this impacts everyday citizens, let's examine North Carolina in detail. State economic development documents reveal that North Carolina has prioritized data center growth as a key economic strategy. The state offers substantial incentives to attract these facilities: property tax reductions, equipment sales tax exemptions, and in qualifying cases, electricity sales tax exemptions. The political goal was clear: attract high-tech investment, create jobs, position North Carolina as a technology hub. But here's where the math becomes problematic for residential customers. Duke Energy, the state's dominant utility provider, projects that data center power demand in its North Carolina service territory could approach 6 gigawatts in the coming decade. To meet this demand, the utility plans to construct new natural gas power plants and expand grid infrastructure. And under North Carolina's current regulatory system, the cost of building this new infrastructure is socialized across all ratepayers, meaning residential customers, who use a tiny fraction of the power compared to data centers, are financing grid expansion primarily driven by industrial-scale AI operations. Let's look at the actual approved rate increases for North Carolina residential customers. Duke Energy Carolinas, serving Charlotte, Durham, Western NC. 2024 to 2026. Approved increases, approximately 2026 per month. Proposed 2027 increase, 11.9%, pending regulatory approval. Proposed 2028 increase, additional 4%. Duke Energy Progress, serving Central and Eastern NC, Asheville. 2024 to 2026, approved increases, approximately $25 per month. Proposed 2027 increase, 14.1%, pending approval. Proposed 2028 increase, additional 3.5%. Independent analysis projects a cumulative increase of approximately 37% from 2023 to 2029. For a typical residential customer currently paying $140–165 per month, that translates to an additional $52 per month by 2029, over $600 per year. Duke Energy states these increases are necessary for grid infrastructure upgrades, new generation capacity, reliability, improvements, clean energy transition. What the utility emphasizes less prominently, a significant driver of this new capacity demand is data center expansion. Here's where the numbers become deeply personal. Between 2019 and 2024, North Carolina had the second highest number of utility disconnections among the 42 states that report this data. Only California, with nearly 4 times the population, had more. In the wake of Hurricane Helene in September 2024, disconnection rates temporarily dropped as affected residents qualified for winter protection policies. But as soon as the winter protection period ended in April 2025, disconnection rates soared past pre-disaster levels. This coincides with the latest round of approved rate increases. In Charlotte and Asheville, consumer advocacy groups have staged protests outside Duke Energy offices and Public Utility Commission hearings.
One Clean AIRE NC representative stated at a 2023 hearing, "Residential consumers will bear the brunt of this rate increase. This places an unfair burden on low-income and BIPOC individuals who are already struggling to make ends meet."
The math is brutal. As bills rise, more families face the choice between electricity and other necessities. North Carolina is not unique. This is a systemic pattern. Let's look at Northern Virginia, specifically Loudoun County, known as the data center capital of the world. Virginia hosts over 1/3 of the world's data centers. Dominion Energy, the state's primary utility, reported having 40 gigawatts of data center power under contract as of December 2024. That's an 88% increase from just 6 months earlier. To put that in perspective, 40 gigawatts is roughly equivalent to the total electricity consumption of the entire state of Virginia. And here's the impact on residential customers. The Virginia State Corporation Commission approved rate increases in November 2025. It's $11.24 per month in 2026, but $2.36 per month in 2027. But that's just the beginning. Analysis by the Piedmont Environmental Council and Legislative Auditors projects that if data centers don't pay a proportionally higher share, residential bills in Dominion's territory could rise. 2035, $255, $308 per month, from $159 current average. 2045, up to $381 per month. That's a 140% increase over current rates. Virginia regulators responded by creating a new GS5 rate class specifically for large energy users, 25 plus megawatts, primarily data centers, requiring them to pay at least 85% of contracted distribution and transmission demand. This takes effect January 2027. The question, is it too little, too late? And why didn't North Carolina implement similar protections? This is the ultimate Cobra paradox of the digital age. State governments offer land, tax breaks, and infrastructure support to the wealthiest corporations on earth in the name of economic development. Meanwhile, the true cost, the grid expansion, the new power plants, the transmission lines, is quietly transferred to working families through monthly utility bills. Duke Energy projects $50+ billion in capital investments over the next decade. Much of that will be financed through rate increases charged to residential customers. The AI models being trained in these data centers may eventually replace jobs, optimize corporate logistics, or power surveillance systems. But the electricity bill? That's on you. And here's the mathematical reality. The people paying the most as a percentage of their income are the ones who can least afford it. Low-income families already spend 8 to 12% of household income on energy costs. These rate increases push that even higher. Meanwhile, data center operators, some of the most profitable companies in human history, receive tax incentives and preferential treatment. I want to be clear. This is not an anti-technology channel. AI has legitimate applications. Data centers provide critical infrastructure for modern life. But here's the question that should concern every citizen. Who pays? Who profits? And who decided this was a fair deal? If your electric bill is rising 30 to 40% to finance infrastructure that primarily benefits corporations generating billions in profit, that's not economic development. That's wealth transfer. And unlike corporate tax breaks or direct subsidies, utility rate increases happen quietly, with minimal public oversight. Most people don't read utility commission filings. Most people don't attend regulatory hearings. They just see the bill. And they pay it, or they can't, and the power gets cut. If this level of critical analysis brings you value, if you want to understand the systems running our world without the corporate greenwashing, subscribe, because this pattern extends far beyond electricity bills. The Cobra paradox, where solutions create larger problems, and somebody always pays. I'll see you in the next investigation.